Welcome back. I'm Gary Parr.
I'm Jennifer Kopaz-Rose.
And you're listening to the midweek version of Fiber Talk, the twice weekly podcast for needlework, artist, ground cloth stabber people.
Yes, lots of stabbing.
Yes. So tonight, join us tonight. Now, listen to the podcast Sunday. We're doing a double hit thing again this week. So this past Sunday, the podcast was with Patricia Sohn about painted canvas design and stitching and so on and so forth. So listen to that, and then Patricia will join us tonight. And she has several of her designs that she has stitched. And so we'll look at those and talk about why she selected stitches and how to make decisions about stitches. And as I said in the meditative show Sunday, it's even if you're never going to do a painted canvas thing, you'll learn something in terms of how to make threads and stitches do more for you in whatever design it is. So join us tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern Time on the YouTube channel. Patricia Sohn will be our guest. And try to listen to that podcast ahead of time, give you a little insight.
Yep. It was really good. I listened to it. It was really good. I liked it.
Thanks. Yeah, it was interesting. It was really insightful. Yeah, she's a good one. Yep. So join us for that. And then also note next Wednesday, which is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, the 25th.
Yeah.
Thank you. No live show the 25th. Okay, so no live show the Wednesday night, the 25th, before Thanksgiving. And that's just a selfish thing. Mark and I are going to church. So, sorry.
Yep. That's okay. You're allowed.
Thank you. Yes. And then we'll be back with the Wednesday shows on December 2 with Cindy Baldwin, the show that YouTube trashed on us.
I know. That was crazy.
Yeah.
But that was all YouTube. That had nothing to do with us. But
we were there. Yep, we were there.
That was wild.
Yeah. I just thought, I thought afterwards, after we decided, all right, to shut this thing down, imagine the alarm bells that were going off at YouTube when essentially their whole system is shut down and not delivering the one thing that makes them money. Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, people hauled out of bed, all kinds of things.
I bet.
Yeah. Not a world I want to be a part of.
Yep. No. That was crazy.
Yeah. So Cindy Baldwin back on the 2nd, and we'll look at her. That's a lot of needlepoint too, a lot of charted canvas work. Really beautiful work. She's really good.
Nice.
Yeah. So we'll get to see all that on the 2nd. So join us for that too. So a couple things here for the needlepointer people. Yep.
Yeah.
People all free. Well, sometimes people say you need to have more needlepoint people. All right, line them up. Here we go. Yep. And then the 22nd, November 22nd, will be our final meditative stitching show. So that November 22. So that'll be this Sunday. Will be our final one. That I think that's worked out well. I've been really enjoying it and happy with it. And I've heard from a number of people who have really enjoyed it. So I think that's worked out.
Yeah, I really like it.
Yeah.
I like doing it. I've done the breathing and all that stuff before, but it's kind of nice doing it all together, but yet you're at home, and I don't know, it's nice.
Yeah. And it's given us another aspect of stitching that I have really enjoyed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's good.
It gives you another way of, like, when she was, who was it you were just talking to on the Sunday show that's going to be there Wednesday? My brain just went away.
Patricia Sohn?
Yes. And she was talking about how she always has, like, a basket weave going on because that fits into that meditative stitching.
Yes.
So instead of looking at it like, oh my gosh, I've got all this basket weave, how horrible, think, I can sit down and just relax and go and have peace in my brain.
Yep. Yeah. No, there's a lot to that. And I think that's, it becomes something that you just keep. This is my
And even
meditative
she said
thing.
she thought it was soothing.
Yeah. So. A good thing, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And people have learned things. The stretching and breathing, like I said Sunday, all that kind of stuff. I mean, I sit at a computer all day long. Many of us do. And you don't realize how much you just start to conform to that posture, good, bad, or indifferent. And when doing these stretching things, it's like, holy smokes, I need to work some of this. I need to loosen up.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. The stretching. And then, you know, my husband works at a computer 24/7 because he's a workaholic. And I finally got him to go to Massage Envy for massage. And he fought me for 2 years. He was like, no, because, you know, he felt weird about it. But then I finally got him to go, and he's like every 2 weeks now he's there. Because it really works out the kinks in your back and your neck and your shoulders from sitting at the computer.
Yeah.
And he said it makes a huge difference.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with him. Well, now he's changed his mind. I'm just not. I've done the massage. I'm just not a fan. Yeah.
Oh no.
No, but I did see something, and this was interesting because I saw it after the show Sunday. Because I follow several cycling people, and one person did a little video clip on Instagram where she was doing thoracic flexibility exercises as part of a cycling training program. And someone commented that cycling was really bad for the thoracic area, your rib cage area.
Right.
And cycling, and then they said, and then computer work, and that more people would benefit from those kinds of exercises that basically loosened up the rib spine area and got that more flexible. And it really got me kind of thinking about, in conjunction with the stretches we've been doing in the meditative show, it really got me thinking about, because now I'm doing both. So, I've been doing both cycling and sitting at a computer. I think I need to get myself. So I've been kind of poking around. Is there some kind of a general stretching program that I could do? Like Deb said, it's called yoga.
Yeah. Seriously, yoga's fantastic. And if you can find a simple, and you go as far as your body lets you go. You don't have to do what anybody else is doing. And you'll, learn how to properly loosen up the muscles and stuff so you don't hurt yourself also while doing the stretching.
Yeah.
Because you can hurt yourself if you do it wrong.
Now, if you know about this stuff, I don't. So if you buy a DVD with just some exercises, are those effective?
I've used them in the past. I still have my Yoga Zone DVDs that I bought way back in the mid-90s. Yeah. Like 96, 97.
Yoga Zone.
Yoga Zone.
Okay.
And it was actually I don't even know if they're still around anymore. I have the DVDs, but it was a studio. They had some studios in New York City. But
because the moves and all the positions are ancient, so it's not like it
right
gets like it's a new set. Yeah.
Yeah, you just have to find. But yeah, just any videos. I mean, those are the ones that I started with. But then I also do my Beachbody has yoga programs. Different ones that I do occasionally. I usually use my Beachbody for other exercises. But
well, this has me thinking. I have to say. Because I think an overall body stretching thing on a regular basis would not hurt me a lick. So
yeah, I think everybody would benefit.
I mean, there's people who believe that just by doing stretching, that you can get yourself in better shape. That stretching, not just casual but serious stretching. That you can find your way into better shape. And I guess that really equates to yoga, which is effectively stretching.
It is. And I mean, some of the poses, it's strength and stretching kind of at the same time.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's great.
Well, but I have to say the wheels are spinning here.
Yeah. I've done dance since I was 5 and ballet, so I've stretched my whole life. It's just something I do.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I'm surprised that everybody else doesn't stretch.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, that's just what people do, right? You stretch all the time.
Right.
Because that's how I grew up.
And see, I don't even, all the cycling I do, I don't even stretch.
Oh, wow.
I'm terrible about it. And I know, especially afterwards, I would do well to stretch, but I just don't. So.
Yeah, even some light stretching before and then definitely stretching after.
Yeah. Well, the meditative stitching has me thinking about these things.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yep. Because when she does the one where you splay your hand open, and my hand just like, whoa, what's this? Okay.
Right.
If my hand needs to be stretched, then that means the rest of me needs to be too. So.
Right.
Yeah.
See, I've even stretched my hands even as young as a kid. My hands, my feet, like I've just always done it. So I'm just surprised when people.
I think you're in the minority.
I know.
The minority, yeah.
I'm weird. I understand.
But there's no question that there's benefit. No question whatsoever. More flexibility at any age is. I don't think anyone
it can
would
really help
it.
when you get older if you have surgery or something.
Yeah.
Having flexibility to, the weird things. If you have foot surgery, you have to have your leg hanging out. You can't get your foot wet. So when I had my foot surgeries, my flexibility helped a lot.
Mm-hmm. Well,
so,
yeah.
Anyway, we're getting way off topic.
We are, yeah. We
Sorry.
Yeah, my fault.
We're meandering all over.
Well, anyway, that's something that's come out of the meditative stitching that has caught my full attention, is that need.
Yeah. I wonder how many. And there's a couple other floss tubes that I've just kind of bumped up against here and there. I don't remember who, but they have also talked about, I'm also doing yoga, and if you want to follow along, do this. And I've seen it come up more often lately.
Yep. And, I'm thinking about when I get older that, I should probably plan for that. So.
Yeah.
Okay. It could happen someday. You never know. Yeah, the other thing that came out of, you got me thinking. Because the other thing that came out of the meditative stitching is that you were using that heavy cotton thread to make a stool cover.
Right.
And you have shut that down.
Yes.
Stop that project.
I did. I was like, you know what? One, this is because I have to do a full cross stitch, because just doing a half cross was not enough coverage to cover up the white underneath, and it would show through, and that just would not look good. And then it was going to take forever, and I did not want for it to take forever. And then also pulling that heavy thread through was hard. And I did start using a sharp needle to make it easier to poke through, but it was taxing on my arms and my shoulders and my hands, and it just got to where I didn't want to work on it anymore.
So it became,
I would look at it.
It became more work than needlework.
Yeah. And I would look at it and I'd be like, I don't want to work on that. And it'd be sitting there, and then I would work on it a little bit, and I was like, I don't want to work on this, Yeah,
because
and then I just decided that, okay, this is over.
Well, see, and that was the thing that caught my ear, was you just shut it off.
Yeah.
You just realized in your head, you don't like this. It's not working out the way you want, and you're not going to have it hang around to be something to do at some point in the future. You just said, no, I'm done. It's off. That's it. Yes.
Yep.
And see, I don't think that happens with a lot of people with projects, though.
Oh, see, I've been doing, this is what, any kind of needlework or crochet or knitting, I've been doing it for so many years that I've realized if I don't like it, or if it's not coming out right, I've learned to ditch it. Unravel the yarn, wind it back up, put it away, save it for something else. And I guess I've done so much of that I don't have a problem doing it.
Yeah. And see, it's
easy to make the decision. It's become easy because I've had so many years of experience doing it.
Yeah, you've done it. You've just faced the reality.
Mm-hmm.
And see, I have several projects in various forms, and I don't dislike them, but I can think of a couple that the chances of me ever doing it are slim and none, because I just grew to dislike it. But I keep them hanging around, thinking, well, someday I might change my mind.
Right.
And one I can think of, mainly, what turned me off on that was the chart has errors in it, and the designer never acknowledges the errors, and so it becomes this constant watch to make sure you don't trip over one.
Yeah, and that can be exhausting and takes away all the fun.
And apparently, it's not uncommon for this designer to have errors, and she doesn't. That's not her problem, apparently.
Right, and then you just stop doing those designs and that person, and you move on.
Yep. So I have this, but I like the design, but I had to tear out a good portion just to correct one error.
Right.
And it's one that an error is obvious. And so, but I like it, so I keep it hanging around. But I just wonder, because you just did that, you just flat out said Sunday, nope, I'm done with it.
Yeah. And I had decided the day before. I just looked at it, and I was looking at it, and I'm like, I'm not doing that anymore. It's over.
So then it got me thinking, but see, I admired that, because you just you're not messing around with it. And so then it got me thinking, what is it that makes these things fall out of favor? Because none of us buys and kits a chart or a design that we don't like.
Right.
But then I think virtually anyone who's done any amount of needlework can say, I just grew to not like this one. And so I never finished it. Or I literally just took it apart like you did and used the materials for something else. But, what is it, what is it that makes it fall out of favor? Like the one that I have is the errors in the chart, and then having to be on the watch all the time. And it's just like, I can't even relax with this thing, because who knows?
Yeah.
When the next one, but then, do you grow to hate the colors? If you're doing linen, did you choose a linen that the thread count's so high that you don't enjoy doing it?
Right. There were those ones. So I did finish them. And they're those Christmas, the farmhouse Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got them all finished up. But the linen. So I wish that I had, before I started the first one, washed the linen, because the linen that it called for was very open, loosey-goosey weave, and it looks very rustic, which does fit with the pattern. It fits with the pattern, the charts. It works together. But I did not like stitching on that linen. But I finished all of them, knowing that I would never, if I stitched with that linen again, I would wash it first and dry it and stuff to fluff up the linen a little.
Uh-huh.
Because it'll fluff it and take away some of that super openness and stuff.
Yeah.
And because I did not like, and since it had all the specialty flosses, I didn't want to wash them afterwards in fear of running.
Right.
And there's a lot of red and green, and that stuff would run like crazy if it was going to. So I left it as is. And that's why the cottages I'm doing by Country Cottage Needleworks, the monthly cottages, those ones, it's like similar linen that's all open and loosey-goosey. I wash it in boiling water with woolite, boiling. I heat it up to boiling in the microwave and wash it with that, and then iron it dry, and it fluffs it up and tightens it up a little, and it shrinks it a smidge, like a little bit, like maybe half an inch, quarter of an inch. Because I did measure it. I wanted to see how much it shrank.
Yeah. So
I took one that wasn't washed and shrunken, and then I took the other one, and it did shrink just a little bit. But yeah, I washed it and fluffed up the linen to make it something that I liked stitching on, because I did not like stitching on it the other way.
Because see, you brought to mind some ornaments that I bought 3 or 4 of them, and the called for linen I liked. But it was that really flimsy, like well-worn cloth linen, and I never felt like I could get the tension right. I could never get it stiff enough in the hoop. And again, it was just struggle. And so then I did, maybe 20 or 30 stitches and just forget it, just
well,
not worth
just
it.
trade out and do a different linen,
Well,
and then you'd be
yeah.
happy.
Yeah. And then, but then that's what happens though, is that's the simple solution, but then I never did it.
Right.
It just got shoved aside and I moved on to something else.
Right.
And, it's just an interesting mental process. And that was where you just, nope, I'm done. And I don't go through that. I don't have that, it's not in my, not on my, war chest, so to speak.
Oh, no, I've done so many there's so many things that I want to do, and I just don't have time to waste on something that I am not enjoying.
Yeah.
And I have learned how to face that and just accept it and move on. But I've been doing this. I mean, this is all I do for years and years and years.
Yeah.
So.
Because I think that. Yeah, I think of people who have, like, they take on a project that's just bigger than they want to deal with. It's a big project, and they get started, and I'm thinking of full coverage people, but even people who take on large samplers, and at some point, they don't see the end, and you know what I mean. It just it seems like they've been stitching forever, and it's not like they're getting toward the end, and so it gets set aside. And, and that's that whole issue of stitching small things because you can get a bunch of them done versus a big thing that will take you a long time. And everybody has their preference. But
I like to do both.
Yeah.
I like the small things because sometimes I just want something small and quick. And then sometimes I want to get out my big project and work on it. But then you need a little bit of a break, so you do something small.
See, I tend to large projects all the time. Don't know why that is. Yeah, I have a few small things, but that I've been working on, but it's just, I don't. But it's interesting.
Yeah.
The ones that are finished and hanging on the walls in the house are all smaller projects. Now,
really?
This gets me thinking about this. Isn't that interesting?
Uh-huh.
I don't have one single big project finished, but there's half dozen or 8 things hanging on walls that are all small projects. Interesting.
That's funny. Yeah. Oh my gosh. See, I have a variety. I have big stuff and small stuff.
Yeah.
Done.
But I think I just did the pot call the kettle black routine on myself here. Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. Then sometimes when you go through and you look at some of your smaller things and you get it out again, you're like, wow, look how close I am. I just have that much. And then you just plow through and get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whereas the bigger ones, it's harder to do that because they're so big.
Yeah. Yeah, because somebody wrote to me the other day about not wanting to do large sampler, preferring small stuff. And I forget what context it was in. But my response was, well, large samplers are just a bunch of little projects. All on a piece of cloth. You can look at it that way. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and then if you can divide it up and be like, so one thing that I see a lot of people do with these really big samplers that I know that I can't do it that way, is they do the big border first, the outer border.
Yeah. And
to me, I would get 50 stitches in and I'd be done. It'd be over because it's boring. Yeah. And I would, like I did with my my Jennifer Gilbert sampler I'm working on. I didn't do the big outside border. I did my X and Y, the center lines. I marked them with my thread that I do.
Yeah.
And then I started in the middle and I will work my way out. And that's what I did with Pandemic too. But because it's just, and then you do the border as you go, you know. And then you have less of a chance of it not matching up at the end and having to rip everything out.
Well, yeah, one would think that, yes.
Well, especially if you have your X and Y in there, you always have somewhere to catch yourself if you're getting off.
Yes.
You always have that line where you can catch yourself.
Yep.
And if you start close to the line and you go out from there and you make sure you double check your counting, triple, quadruple, you know?
Yeah. I bet we could get 100 people in the room and ask that question. Do you do a reproduction sample, or do you do the border all the way around to see, make sure it matches, or do you do it as you go? And I bet you'd end up about 50-50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I already know myself. I couldn't do it that way because just having to do the little bit of a big long line, I get bored real fast. Real fast. Like that, I don't know why, but
Yep. But that,
that's
and
not how I would do it.
and when you get people who are border first, they'll start a new project, and then the first celebration is it matched. They got all the way around and it matched. And now I can go to work on the regular stuff. Yeah.
A lot of people seem to linger in that border forever.
Yeah.
And so they don't get to the good part because they're doing the border, which really is, unless it's a fantastic border, most of them are kind of, not much to them.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. Yeah. Is you get caught up in something, some aspect of it that's really boring, and you lose interest. And to me, there's a bit of a trick in making sure that you do, in quotes, the fun stuff along with the boring stuff with any project. Make yourself do a little, like the Dawn to Dust there, which the brocade part has been described as, do that as you go along or you'll never finish it. But as I've watched you do it, it looks pretty interesting to me. So I'm not so sure I subscribe to it being the boring part, but you're doing it as you go along, because that's the repetitive part. It's not necessarily boring. It's just repetitive. And so you're keeping that going, but then each of the motifs then is where the real interest, all the threads and the different layers and things lie.
Right. And on that part, you really need to be present. Your brain cannot be half on vacation. You need to be there. Whereas with the filler, the brocade part, your brain can be half there.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
So it depends on where you are in your mind in that day.
Well, yeah, but, and that's just it. You keep the mix going. But see, now, I look back my early days of needlepointing, which was on painted canvas. And I would do the design, and then, all right, now, and it was wool on 13 count or whatever. And then, all right, now we're gonna basket weave the background. Ugh.
Right.
And I'm sure I've thrown away half dozen of them where the background was just never finished because it just bored me to tears. And I never had the common sense to say, why aren't you doing this as you go along, so you don't have it, but I'd wait till the end, and then I'd sit there and just nod off stitching that. And I think at least for me, it's like back stitching on cross stitch. Do it as you go. Oh man, I'm a firm believer. Do it as you go, because if you have to do it all at the end, you'll never do it.
See, that's not how it works for me.
Yeah. See, everybody's different. Yeah.
For me, especially the Paula Vaughns, the back stitching at the end is the icing. It's the fun part.
And
I like to hurry up and get all the cross stitching done, so then I can do the back stitching.
Oh. See, and that's the thing with back stitching, is I don't think you'll find anyone who says it's a bad thing, because it brings the design to life every time. Mm-hmm. But you could, again, split the room easily with people who like it and people who don't like it.
Right. And then sometimes it depends on sometimes the color of the back stitching that has been chosen is too dark, and therefore turns a piece that looks kind of elegant a little cartoony. So what I do is I change the color of the back stitching to more subtle, so it gives that outline without being such a drastic cartoony outline. And it changes things up. It makes a big difference.
Changes the whole flavor of the piece.
Yeah, because there's been a few lately that I'm like, that's way too dark. And I do a few stitches of the back stitches. I'm like, it changes the whole look. It was great. And then you put that too dark of stitching in, and it doesn't work. Yeah. So I change out the color.
See, and that gets to the make the piece your own. Yeah. Make it say what you want it to say.
Right. So, I mean, even if you're looking at something and you're like, that's a really cute pattern, but that back stitching is just a little too much. Well, just think, tone it down.
Yeah.
When you stitch it yourself, just tone down the back stitching, change the color, and it'll be fine.
Okay. See, there we go. A
Oh.
tip from Jennifer.
Yeah.
All right. So then when it comes to a piece, then what draws you to a piece? What makes you want to do that?
Oh gosh, sometimes
I mean, do you fall into a category where you find yourself doing similar designs regardless of technique?
I don't know. I've tried to think about this, and I like things that look, I like a variety. I like a lot of things that look kind of old fashioned. I think I'm kind of an old fashioned-y kind of girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I've tried to think about this, about it just has to grab me. The colors have to be right, the composition has to be right.
So it's okay. Well, that gets to it. That gets to it. Is it? It's not just a design. It's not just the color. It's a combination of things for you.
Yeah, and the composition and what's in it. It just depends. I don't really seem to fall into one specific category.
Yeah.
Because I've looked at and thought about the things I like, and some of it's cutesy, like there's the cutesy stuff, and then some of it's more serious, not serious, but more elegant. And then some of it's more old-fashioned country.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, well, that's fine.
It just has to grab me.
Just something about it, some combination of things that catches your attention.
Yep. Yeah, and sometimes there'll be like whole lines that, designers, I like everything they do, but there'll be one or two things that really grab me, and those are the ones I'll pick to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for me it's what challenge is in there.
Mm.
And sometimes I think that I look for things that are challenging that if I would just not worry about that I'd finish more pieces. But it's the process for me that interests me. It's not, right. I really don't care if they get finished, though I, obviously would like to finish things I start eventually, but it's not my top priority. Some people start out and they are just, on a mission to finish it. And I just enjoy,
like to have, my stuff is in my house. Like, most of the artwork in my house is something I have made in one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
Quilt, cross stitch, painting, something like that.
Yeah. See, yeah, for me, it's the challenge. Does it present a challenge? Does it make me think? Does it make me find new ground?
Mm-hmm.
And then, but if you said from an artistic perspective, which in my case is using the word artistic loosely, it's probably texture.
Mm-hmm.
Texture appeals to me more than color.
Right.
I like that. I like pieces that show a lot of texture, different variations within a design. I enjoy that more. That's why, like, white work to me is so very appealing.
I love white work too. I think it's gorgeous.
Because if you do that right, white on white is to me is spectacular, because then it becomes all texture.
Right.
Yeah, and I enjoy that.
There were a couple of, when I was doing some of those farmhouse Christmas, the background, it wasn't white, it was more like a grayish type of color, grayish brown.
Yeah.
But I did all the white stitches first on the gray brown.
Uh-huh.
And just those two together, it was like, wow, look at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I filled in all the colored stitches. So. But I did take a moment and admire the white.
Yeah. There's a beauty to it that nothing else can approach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's, and the extension of that is cross stitch pieces where you just use one color. You take modern folk embroidery, Jacob's stuff, just gorgeous stuff, just one color. And, you just look at that and you go, wow. But there again, it's all pattern, and the color really doesn't play a role. It's how it contrasts with the ground cloth, but that's it. Now it becomes the pattern.
Yeah, I'm doing the 2019 stitch along. Still. I think I'm on the 4th block out of 12?
Yeah.
I haven't touched that in months, but it's there and I've been thinking about it lately. And I'm doing it in red on white.
Yeah, see.
So it's the one that says hope on it.
And see, that's, and there's something to that. And there's something meditative to that too, because you don't have to worry about colors.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's like my pandemic too. I'm doing that all in one color. So you don't have to worry about switching and you just go.
Yep. Yeah, and it's simple. It's simple right out of the gate. You decide on a ground cloth. You get yourself several skeins of one color, and you just go. And follow the pattern and put it in there. And yeah, there's a meditative aspect to that too. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's just because what makes me want to do something. Is it the colors? Not really. Like if I like the colors that are specified, but I don't have any qualms about changing them.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But is it, I'm look for, are there some stitches in there that I'd like to do, that I'd like to learn, or that I enjoy doing? And,
right.
And that's why, I do have several cross stitch things going, and I like doing those. But there's for a different reason, because obviously there's no particular challenge in making X's, but then I find within that I find myself challenging myself to make X's better, try to get better tension all the time, do all those things. So I inject a challenge into that. Where maybe there wouldn't necessarily be one, but just to keeps my brain moving,
Right. Yeah, you guys brought up challenge last week.
Yes.
Beth, about doing a challenge, something, and you were gonna do stump work, right?
Well, we talked about what
gold work.
Yeah, we talked about what technique would you do that you've never done?
Right. So mine is Hardanger. I have not done Hardanger.
Yeah.
And I was in that witchy stitchy thing that I did for October, one of the little tricks we were supposed to do is do something that scares you, like a needlepoint, and nothing really scares me, but I was like, well, I'll change that to something that I haven't done yet. And that was going to be Hardanger. And Doreen Jones had these little ornaments. She's made these little 3D ornament patterns that are partially Hardanger. And then the open parts, you put like a piece of fabric or felt behind it.
Yeah.
And then you stuff the ornament. So I was going to do that, but then I went to the store, just the normal store. I didn't go to my special needlework store yet. I'm going to have to. In the normal store, I had some size 8 pearl cotton, but I didn't have any 12. And they didn't have any 12. They had a couple of colors, but I need like either white or a crew to go with so none of my colors went together with any of my fabric. Like I tried to make it work, so I haven't done it yet. But that's one. And then also Teresa Wensler had those little mini samplers, like the winter mini sampler, and they finish like 6 inches by 4 inches on 28 count. And that has tons of Hardanger in it. And I was thinking, since they're small too, I was like, oh, I could do that.
Get a little taste,
my challenge, because it's got cross stitch and Hardanger, and it says it's a sampler, but it doesn't have the alphabet, so it depends on how strict you are with the word sampler.
Yeah, I think that I'm not sure if that definition is followed very much anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, I know it. I think it's supposed to mean with the alphabet if you're going to be really strict about it.
That's what I thought, but you see so many that don't do it, so
or they call it a sampler. It's just a bunch of different things.
Hardanger's fun. Hardanger's a lot of fun.
See, I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, it's I've talked about this. Once you get over cutting the ground cloth, once you get over that little bit, I think it's a lot of fun, and it's amazing what you can do in those open spaces, just in how you string the thread.
Right.
The different looks you can get. And it's also amazing to me, really sophisticated hard hanger, how much of the ground cloth you can eliminate, still have it hold together.
Yeah.
And have this really delicate lace look. Because you would think at some point it'd be the point of no return and the ground cloth would just collapse on you. But
right.
No, you can go get pretty extreme and still have it hold together. So
yeah, so I looked at that this morning. I got out because I bought and downloaded the designs.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that could be my challenge piece if we're going to do a New Year, new challenge.
Well, that's one thing to do is to have a piece where there's just a little bit of it in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that little ornament.
Yeah, just get a little taste of it.
Sampler. Yeah. You just do a little, and it's tiny. So if it's a total disaster, you just chuck it, and it's no big deal.
Right. You're not out a $50 piece of linen. Yeah. Exactly.
You just do it on some scraps and just see what happens.
Yep. I think I forgot to mention that our stitch along. I think I did. I was going to mention that up front because you made me think about something for the new year.
Oh.
Yeah, I think I forgot to mention. So we are watch for more information.
Right.
January 1, we're going to start a new stitch along, and it's going to be the Spring Hill design by Rosewood Manor.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that'll be my first time doing a sampler that is like that kind of a design with the hill and the house and stuff.
Yeah.
I've not done one of those yet.
Yep. So that's coming January 1, and we'll have more information because we'll have working on a sponsor now that will be a way to get the kits. And so working on that now. But yeah, so what you and I and Beth had talked about was doing the same design, but each using a different thread.
Right.
Because you were going to do DMC, right?
Yeah, because I think she charted it for DMC, didn't she?
No, she charted it for Sullivan's thread.
I think it said Sullivan's or DMC.
Yeah, there's a DMC in it, but yeah.
Yeah.
She stitched her model with Sullivan's. So you're going to do a DMC.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I'm hoping to do Cosmo. And then Beth wanted to do Sulky.
Okay, that's that new. Isn't that a 12 weight thread, but
no,
like pearl cotton, but not pearl cotton, or something?
No, I don't think so. No, Sulky.
I thought it was a single strand that was meant to mimic 2 strands of floss.
Oh, that's something else.
Is it?
I know what you mean. Yeah, I think it's something else.
Okay. Maybe I'm confused.
Because I'm doing my banding thing with Sulky thread, silk. It's a silk thread.
Oh, yeah. What am I thinking of?
Now you got me going. I'm trying to think too, because what was that?
Oh,
that came up. Yeah. So anyway, we're going to do the Spring Hill design by Rosewood Manor, Karen Kluba, the Spring Hill design, and the plan right now is to do each of us use a different thread. I'll do the same thing, but use a different thread. So spec the design in to match a thread line. So and the plan is, as soon as I get a sponsor, the plan is then that you would be able to get the kit in, I would hope, well, certainly DMC, that's easy, but in one of the 3 different types of threads if you wanted to do that, or just do your own.
Right.
So anyway, start on January 1. That's the plan.
Yep, that's my birthday.
Yes. It's a birthday kickoff for Jennifer. We're going to do Spring Hill. And the Spring Hill design is the first of a series. So it's going to be one for each season. Spring, I don't need to list the seasons, do I? Why do you always do that? Why do people always do that? When it comes to seasons, they feel compelled. Sure. Just feel compelled to list the seasons. Like, I almost did that. I'm glad I caught myself.
So funny. That's so true, though.
Isn't it?
But when you say like for the whole year, you don't list every single month, right?
Right. So why do you feel you have to list the seasons? I almost did that. That would have been embarrassing.
Everybody does it though.
Yeah. Well, we don't need that.
That is so funny.
So Spring Hill is the first one coming up. So that's the one we're going to do. It's a beautiful thing. And if you listen, I think in the last Karen Kluba interview a few weeks ago, she talks about how the origin of that design. where they were in England
right.
and saw that. So
Right. Yeah, I remember.
yes. So
Do you know?
more to come on that. Do I know what?
Okay. Have you found out from her how soon she's going to release the next seasons or?
Nashville.
Oh,
The next,
Nashville.
the next one will be at the Nashville show, which is now in May.
Oh, is it in May?
So we'll have this one done. See, we'll be ready for the next one.
Totally.
Yeah.
Right?
It's giant.
It's not that big.
It's got some size. Yeah. No, I was studying it a little bit. It's got some size, but I don't think it's overwhelming at all. It's beautiful.
I think it's like 12 by 9 on 40 count over 2.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe something like that.
No, you're right. It is. Yeah, it is, because I was figuring the linen on 40 count would be 18 inches on the long side. Yeah. So that's right.
Oh, and that's and it's up and down.
Right. So 12 by, that's about right. 12 by 9.
I'd have to get out my calculator. Yeah. So, and I think I might do 40 count. I've done some stuff over 2 on 40 count, and it is just delectable.
Yes.
So there's this thing called Celebrations of Needlework that happens in Nashua, New Hampshire every year. Mm-hmm. And it's been happening for 30 some years or something. And I went to it a couple years ago with my friends, and it was the first time I'd ever gone to a needlework show. And it was the first time I ever saw people stitch over 1 and over 2 and like on 40 count and over. I had never seen that before in real life or even really in pictures. And I was just like, wow, this is amazing. I have to do this. So, and I have, and I love it.
Yeah. I like 40 count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like 40 count, and I really like stitching over 1 on like Lugana or 28 count. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's nice.
I like 40 count because you only need 1 strand. That's all I care about.
Oh, see, that doesn't bother me so much. I do like the only 1 strand thing. I do enjoy that, but if it like 32, I do like working on 32 count over 2, and you need 2. At least I like 2.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like 1 strand, 40 count. Yep. Mm-hmm. I don't like messing with 2 strands. I just don't.
Oh,
nope.
Okay.
Nope. I just don't. I can just stitch then. Yeah. So we're gonna do that. So January 1, and we'll probably have a show on the 1st of January, a little kickoff show to get the thing started, and then we'll be stitching on that. And like I said, we'll be done by the Nashville show in May, and we'll be ready for the next one. It'll be simple. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So do you think is it gonna be a live in person Nashville show?
Yeah. Who knows?
I hope. I'll tell you what, you guys squeaked it in right before everything shut down this last year.
I know. That was just in time. Yeah.
It was.
A week later, and it'd have been not so much.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the trouble with these, people looking at next year, planning different events. Mm-hmm. And I know in my magazine business and industry world, already several of them, they're just saying no. No, because they have to plan so far ahead because there's so many hotels involved and so much space commitment for banquets and meeting rooms and stuff that they have to plan so far ahead. And they're just saying, no, it's not worth the chance. And doing
But we're going to have a vaccine, and then
having a vaccine and getting the population vaccinated, 2 different things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a long haul.
I don't know.
Yeah. So I don't know how these are going to play out next year. It's a real crapshoot.
Yeah, I know. I want to start doing stuff. I'm ready. I want to go somewhere.
Yeah. I don't usually go many places, but when you're told you can't, it becomes a thing then, yes.
It does.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got to go. Yep. So
it's like I got to get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what that mental thing is, but once you're told you can't, then now it becomes a priority. Yep.
And then when you're told you have to do something, you don't want to.
Right. Nah.
It's like, so.
Yeah, no thanks.
It's like, you have to stitch this right now. It's like, but I don't want to. I want to stitch something else.
Yep. So that's going to be January 1, Spring Hill by Rosewood Manor. We'll have more information real soon so people can get kits and get ready to do it.
I know. That's coming up. Oh my goodness, like what, 6 weeks?
Yeah, really fast. So, Yeah.
It's going to be here before you know it.
And of course, the way people are able to get threads, we may have to push it out a little bit, but we'll see. We'll make our best effort.
Yeah.
So, all right. So tonight, Patricia Sohn, we're going to talk about stitching painted canvas. Sunday is the final meditative stitching. No Wednesday show next week. No Wednesday show next week. The Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And then we'll be back on the Wednesday the 2nd with Cindy Baldwin. And
nice.
and Sunday's podcast, Stephanie Bonneau returns. And this time we talk about the world of haute couture.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So we'll have Stephanie Sunday.
That'll be fun.
That was interesting. I learned a lot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a world you got to want to be in. I got to tell you that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, you got to want to. Yep, it was most interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, I got a sense that the pressure level around showtime is through the roof. Yeah.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. So Stephanie on Sunday, meditative stitching Sunday. That's it. We're done.
All right.
Thanks for listening.
All right. Bye.